I'm doing great. We have had so many listeners call or stop by, and it has just filled my heart overflowing. When I went to try to do this, it took about 7 years to convince people that, yes, there are people out there that want to hear from a female financial professional and hear that there is a holistic approach, hear that people are going to be able to sit down and look at the whole picture. And as I constantly chime, what gets you to retirement will not get you through retirement. I've been on both sides of it. I was in the accumulation phase, helping people plan strategically, gosh, way back when I had young kids, all about life insurance, planning and preparing in case something happened, and also building that wealth until they, were ready to retire. And now I'm on this side of it with you, Rachelle. Man, there's so much going into it. There's so much complexities. I told somebody yesterday, it's like you're moving to a foreign country.
Yeah, it's a whole new world. When you start getting into retirement, there are just so many different things that are sitting there waiting that you haven't been exposed to and people just don't talk about. And I think that's one of the things that the individuals or listeners that have reached out to us have been able to say is we really enjoyed being educated, and that's really one of the passions, and we love to get to share that information with our listeners.
Yes, it's sometimes hard to get them out of the office. I'm like, it's okay. They're like, well, we've been here for an hour and a half, and I go, no, it's fine, especially when it's the last appointment. There's not anybody waiting. But yeah, it's one of those, gosh, we just needed somebody to bounce ideas off of. And our big box firm that helped us financially get here really did a good job at that. But now we're sitting with, dividends. We want to make a paycheck out of things. We want to ensure that this lasts our lifetime and we give something away, leave something for our loved ones. And then balancing that Medicare, IRMA, taxes on never before taxed money and all that, and just all the different questions. And I think one of my biggest joys is to say, hey, is there somewhere or something you want to do now that you're in retirement that you've been thinking about, that you're afraid to spend money? Let's talk about that. So last night, it was a good conversation about Italy, going up to Tuscany, and that was her dream. She wants to go there, and to just kind of budgeting all that and giving her that added peace of mind that, you know what, it's okay. You're going to be okay.
That it's a real possibility to fulfill that dream and to get to actually do what you want to. People work so hard to earn that money and to accumulate that wealth. But then, like you say, so many people are afraid to spend it. But being able to have those conversations to identify, what does the budget look like? We've talked about that before. People just don't tend to budget. So what does that look like, and how can we achieve that through different vehicles to make your dream come true?
Right. And the whole taxation, that happens with people don't understand Social Security is not taxed until you tell them to take the taxes out.
Correct.
And what does that really look like? It's not $3,200 because you've got your Medicare coming out of it, and then you have your taxes that need to be taken out of it. And then depending on if you're at your full retirement age or not. So all those nuances, I love that we can just have these people come in. So listeners, if you're one of those people that just want a financial professional and a team that you can talk to, give us a call. Don't delay it, not another day. Give us a call. Like you said, if it's not on the calendar, it doesn't happen.
That's right. It doesn't occur.
Yes. And we'd love to sit down with them. Yes. Just June 2nd, 2013, I fled a 25-year abusive marriage after being held against my will for 3 days. And so the first thought is I'm alive and I'm out. Thank God. Went to my daughter's to take care. We were supposed to grab lunch, and then I was headed to the women's shelter. June 14th, I received a letter from the government that everything was seized. They left me 10 cents in my bank account. So that's the dime. And someone said, is it dimes? Nope, it was just one. It was
just one single one.
To diamonds today. And so in this course and in this, I have life coaches, and one of my very first life coaches to help me navigate the waters that I had been praying for years, we got done and with our, 12 weeks. And she said, you started out when I met you with a dime. And she was like, I can honestly say I watched a dime go to diamonds, and I would have never known you just had a dime at any point. And I want you to go out there and shine. And so that coined right there with me, as well as Phoenix rising from the ashes. I'm not from Arizona, not been to Arizona, have nothing to do with Phoenix, Arizona. So the Phoenix rising from the ashes, and mythology goes that, she burns to ash, she rises more vibrant than she ever was before, and the tears of the Phoenix heal others. So those two have really resonated, and really that's where it's all come from. So no, I don't, I educate people because I believe it's empowerment. And as I've shared before, in 2017, Serena Williams had partnered up with a large company to do the Purple Purse Foundation. And so I was asked to join in that campaign, and I did. She has said, and then also in her movie, statistically 98.6% of people will stay in an abusive marriage or work relationship or somewhere that they need to get out of, but they financially don't know a way out. And so that's where education is empowerment to be able to live the life you want. And that's where I've just since then really jumped on that and have been carrying that ever since. And I've heard so many of you callers that have called and then made appointments and come in and said, that really resonated. You've been in a marriage or a relationship or work or something. You would have made changes, but you didn't know financially how it would all play out. That's where you can come in.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's crazy, that statistic that you're saying is, if that's the only reason you're staying, how heartbreaking and how discouraging, because there is no way out. And so I think you are able to help and provide that opportunity. Not only have you been through it, but you rose through it and are doing fantastic. But now you're also willing to share that and help others get through those hard conversations.
Right. And I'll tell you, one of the big turning points for me to really get the impact of why I had to go through the dark and come out the other side to help others is when my husband, the day that he was leaving rehab, I had to sign my life away because I was taking him home after 1 week instead of him being there the full 3 weeks. They made me sign custody of him because he couldn't take care of himself. And I knew in my heart of hearts, yes, he had the stroke. I knew in my heart of hearts that we were going to make it work somehow, some way. Then I go out to the truck to load it, come back, he's on the floor. I'd already signed the paperwork. They're like, he's yours. I was shocked. I see running down the hallway an angel, and it was his physical therapist. And she looked at him and she said, well, this is exactly why we practiced what we did for these last 5 days. She's like, get up, and you know how to get up, and you know how to move, as he drug his left side of his body over and got in a chair. And she looked at me and she said, I know where you're going, and I have the vision. You're going to have to lean in. You have to trust me and trust yourself. And I really feel that's what I do for women. I'm like, I always know they're going to be okay. I don't care how scary it looks. I have a lady that has been through so much in 35 years in her marriage. Oh, she found her dream home a couple weeks ago, and she's out. She's divorced and she's out. And man, we have sat for hours and just talked. And yeah, that's the joy of what I do, really. Well, and I don't think I could be that confident unless I've done it. I mean, I'm confident because I just know what I know and I'm a knower. I know you women know what I'm talking about. But when you're sitting with somebody that has went through it all, when I tell you that you need to have budget and you need to have a stress test done on your finances for health reasons, I'm going to get a snapshot in my head of everything that took place for me to be able to take a 225-pound man home in a wheelchair that only had use of a right arm and a right leg. Right. I had to figure out, okay, how are we doing this thing? And I had the support. And, when that snapped, when I was in that room and I saw her and she grabbed me and she's like, I'm here for you. I've got you. He's going to walk and he's going to be okay. You keep that vision and let me walk alongside you. And she has, and she does. And her and her wife are some of our closest advocates, closest friends, because she is what I am to women and other people for financially. She is on that health area.
Well, and I think it's one of those, it's hard sometimes to let go of control.
Yeah.
And that is probably what you were struggling with a little bit on that, is that, you are no longer the expert sitting across the seat and helping him figure out how to get out of the chair, how to do this. But you were able to find someone that you could trust, that you could rely on, and that proved that they were the person that you needed to rely on. And they were able to assist and do all of get all the information to you so that you could make better decisions.
Thinking about it, Rachelle, when I had her come to the house, I was walking by, trying to get him to stand up, and he had a belt, so you held on to it. And then as he would take that one step with his walker and, put the other leg, I was all but walking right. And she goes, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just over controlling, because I remember seeing him on the floor completely helpless. And she's like, back up. And that's what I tell my clients. I'm like, come on, go find a new hobby. Like she said, she's like, is there anything else you could be doing right now? And I was like, yeah, 1 million things. And she's like, okay, well, we'll see you in a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I tell with people, financially. I'm like, hey, I got you. I'm going to educate you. It's going to be okay. Maybe find another hobby.
Yep.
Don't watch the screen all day, every day, those kind of things. So yeah. And that, as you get further away from it now, like he's riding a bike and doing great. And they're like, hey, let's go do pickleball and let's do Frisbee golf. And I'm like, heck yeah, it wasn't but 8 months ago. I was figuring out how to get him out of a wheelchair.
Yep.
So
I do remember the first day he rode the bike.
Yeah.
And you were quite stressed. Your face was quite stressed when you got the text message that he's on his bike.
He's on his bike in the neighborhood. And I was like, am I glad that I'm not there?
Yes.
Watching that or what?
Definitely. You did not need to be seeing that. You needed to let those reins go.
Yes. And that's what we do. We just like, hey, no, that's what it is. And Rachelle and I are like, hey, we got it. We know what we're looking at, and we're going to educate you through it. And that's what even this last big thing I went through with him is just, I'm going to say her name, Christy. She would just say, hey, I got you. And this is where we're going. And this is how I know it. And it's going to be okay. And that's what we do. We're like, hey, this is when you look at their taxes, aren't you doing the same thing?
Yep. We identify opportunities and we talk about what those can be. And then we devise the plan to get to, the end result that we want, which is mitigating taxes for me. But yeah.
And then we watch them blossom with it.
I want to speak on that the identity tied to the work. And this is what I see most often with individuals who are more than able to retire. They have more money than they want. They're ready to retire, but because so much of who they are and what they feel they bring value to the world is tied to what they do, they are not able to emotionally retire.
Yep.
Do you see that?
Gosh, I've learned retirement isn't just a financial, transaction as we've seen. It's an identity transaction. I mean, it's not transition. So it's an identity transition for them, because people that have been doctors, business owners, teachers, engineers for 40 plus years, one day that title disappears.
Yeah.
I mean, I think some of us women have had that in our careers because of raising kids, but especially men, I haven't seen that where they've had that identity shift and then have to come back. So I tell people, if all you've ever done is planned for your money, but not your purpose, you're going to discover retirement maybe isn't as fulfilling as you imagined. And so that's why we don't just plan on the income and all the financial stuff, but we help our clients build the retirement that they've maybe dreamed about, go on those trips.
That's why that first conversation is usually like, what does your dream retirement look like? What is it that you want to do? And most people have a hard time coming up with it that first appointment. It's usually they go off, they come back in 2 weeks or so, and then they have like, well, actually, I want to travel and I want to do this, or I want to move to a different country. Well, hold up on that piece. But they finally start thinking about something other than what they're going to do tomorrow, which is go in at 8 o'clock, leave at 5. They start thinking about what are the possibilities.
And I tell them it's not a 2-week vacation.
No.
They're like, well, the house needs to be repainted or whatever. And I'm like, okay, what do you want it to look like in 5 years from now, in 10 years from now? What does that look like? You have worked your whole life for this. And that's where, and I tell that story, it reminds me of there's something that goes on out there. There's some story about how when people try to, they break out of jail.
Yes.
They get caught so quickly because all they've done is focused on breaking out. And now they don't know how to survive outside of it. They haven't figured out what to do once they're 2 or 3 weeks into it. Same thing with retirement. So many people, it's almost like they don't want to have the hope. Like, I don't want to get my hopes up that I'm going to have this kind of life, because what if I don't have the money, or what if this happens? And that's where we stress test all that stuff.
Yeah, well, and we design the program, the plan, to meet those goals, to meet those dreams, and give them the different vehicles that can help them achieve that.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
My gosh.
Right. Do you remember the individuals we talked to where one of the wives, they scheduled time where they could be at the house because they couldn't, she had been home all this time and he had been doing work stuff, and now they're in the same place. So they were like, nope, you can have it in the morning and I get it in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But it's not things that you think about.
It's not. And that's what I tell people. Unfortunately, I think of 2 people right now that actually were going to file for divorce after they retired. And instead it was like, let's go get counseling, because all they were doing is functioning. They had very stressful jobs Monday through Friday. On the weekends, it was so rigid with, we have to get these certain things done to go back to work again, that they didn't know how to relax and play. They kind of had to reintroduce themselves to each other. And fine, you do. And we know that as women, we have different stages, and you have to rebrand or re-identify who you are, and I know for me, it's like, okay, wife, mom, business owner, boss, all that stuff. We have all those different hats, and then how to chill out. I'm not saying that I've figured that one out at all. No.
I'm going to go with, I don't know that either.
But that's what happens in retirement. All of a sudden, you don't have the stressors. I remember when I stopped working to be a full-time mom, I was like, gosh, the vacuum cleaner marks, I kind of miss them.
Yeah.
And I had those things I had to really just chill, take a step back, because we would leave at 7:00 in the morning. And when we got home, after I picked the kids up, bring them home, we just were in a couple rooms in the house because I was getting them ready for bed and bath time and all that to go back the next day. And so, yeah, when I was home full time, it was like, wow, who am I and what do I do with myself? And then in retirement, it's health.
Right.
That's another big thing. It's like some of these people like, hey, I'll tell them, go to the senior center. They've got so many opportunities. You can go join these different classes and meet some people that are in this, same part of life,
Yep.
So, and health, go ahead. Right. And so some of those high earners, they accept that intense stress. So when they're not doing that, that's what they're having to relearn is like, how do I function when I'm not stressed out on a deadline?
Yeah. Well, and I can relate to that with tax season. So tax season is 90 to nothing 24/7 and we go, and nothing else gets scheduled. And then you come out of that and you're trying to figure out like, oh, I should be busy right now. I need something to do. And there are times when you do need things to do, but there are times when you need to let your body rest.
Right.
So finding that balance, but I think it's also going back to redeveloping a new habit. And that's part of what that is humans don't like change, and retirement is change. And it's a very big one. But you don't have a routine.
And then
you have to
the
redevelop
financial
it.
part of it, you go,
Yeah.
gosh, you know what? I want to change my routine, but can I financially afford this?
Right.
Can I go take this new class? Can I pick up this new habit or a new hobby?
Me.
Heck yeah.
Myself.
Yeah. A crown can cost more than a weekend vacation,
Yeah.
and Medicare usually doesn't cover that stuff.
Nope.
I'm telling you, when the whole stroke thing was it all went back to two teeth that were had crowns on them, so we couldn't tell that they had those infections up in the sinus cavity. And I was like, pull them all out, pull them out. We'll put fake ones. I mean, people have augmentations and fake stuff. Pull them out, and he's like, whoa, can we just take the ones that are bothering me? But I'm telling you, Jess, it's cheaper to get them pulled out than it is to try to preserve them. And they're right.
It is. It's super expensive, So I have a dental implant and a crown on my front two teeth from an accident when I was younger, and it took a long time to be able to get that dental implant because it's expensive and your insurance doesn't cover a lot of it. And then if they have to do bone grafts and all these other things that go into it, and it's one of the few areas that they're right. Your insurance that you're paying for is really just the preventative care. That's all you're really getting overall. So people, as you age, your teeth are going to experience more problems. Even if you have done a great job taking care of them, they're still going to experience that, and it gets expensive. And so then the question is, does your retirement package portfolio have that built into it?
Right. And that's what we talk to people about and say, hey, these are the things you need to think about that I promise you it's not on your radar. And cash pay. I have educated more people on cash pay. Even if you have insurance, you don't have to use it.
Correct.
It's not fun. It's not for anybody that doesn't have some spunk in them, because I still to this day argue and fight with them every single time. I've never, ever even carried, printed, or had on my person any of my health insurance, dental insurance cards, anything. But they find it on your social security number.
Yeah.
And then I'm fighting with them. I'm like, I never gave you permission to use that. Yeah. I have a huge deductible. It's for the emergency part of it. So my insurance premiums are lower, $2,000 a month. So let's just
lower
get real.
Is relative, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
Right. But you can cash pay. And that's where even on the dentist, we found cash pay dentists. They're not readily out there. You have to ask, you have to network, but they're out there. But that's where I had somebody yesterday on dental, vision, and hearing. She's like, this is outrageous. And she said, I feel like for the free hearing test and the free cleaning, I could save my monthly premiums. And so, but that's the answer. We have to look and talk and have these conversations. What does your dental look like? What has your family's history been? Are you cleaning those things a couple times a day? What are we working with here?
Right.
Yes. And, a full mouth restoration. They're saying it's tens of thousands of dollars in healthcare. There isn't anything that covers for it. That guy absolutely nailed it. They go and they take care of little potholes.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you can go get your heart replaced. less expensive than going and get a full set of teeth. So all of those things need to be considered with retirement.
Yeah, your health is part of your retirement plan, whether you plan for it or not. And so this is where we talk about being proactive and making sure that we are understanding what the whole risk is, the holistic risk. Right. And health isn't just the teeth. It goes into, like she's saying, the long-term care. And we've talked about that. You know, that can be $100,000 a year if someone goes into certain specialty facilities. Can you afford that? Do you want to go into a home? Do you want to do it from your house? Do you want somebody to come to your house? Where is it that you actually want to be, and how do you want your...
What does it look like?
Yes.
That's what I say. What does retirement look like? And we're going to go through all the stages of it. And I'm going to go back to healthcare. My husband was being treated for a thyroid condition that was, no matter what he was doing or taking, was we went to a holistic doctor who said, I need him to go to a holistic dentist. And they found that the one tooth that had so bad was tied to the thyroid. So when they did remove it and they did finally get that infection out, guess what? His thyroid works.
It all got better?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm like, wow, there's so much. We're so used to this fast-paced society of if they say to take this medication for it and they're masking this stuff or putting a Band-Aid on it instead of saying, time out, life just served us this, we're going to figure out, let's get to the root of it.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the pieces is it's not always just masking the symptoms, the pain, this and that. It's really trying to identify the problem.
And that's what we do financially.
Yep.
Is identify the problems and identify the opportunities for them.
It's definitely one of the most overlooked risks is timing in retirement and when that may occur. Most people typically think it's going to be 65. However, on average, it's probably more around 62, 63. And what you're looking at that point in time is 3 fewer years of savings, 3 additional years of withdrawals, which those obviously counteract each other, and then potentially lower Social Security benefits because of that. And that all factors into that whole big portfolio.
Right. One of the biggest retirement risks isn't the stock market, and that's what I tell people. It's life. Most people don't retire because they plan to. They retire because of health issues or a layoff. That was yesterday when I was talking to some folks at the conference table. They got laid off unexpectedly. Another one was they suddenly became caregivers, and that's why I ask every client, if retirement started tomorrow, would you be okay? If that answer is no, then let's educate you. Let's see if we can't give you some options to start making different decisions, just to be prepared. Our favorite, being proactive.
Correct.
Instead of reactive.
Well, and you and I have had many conversations with individuals where everything was going along great. They only needed 2-3 more years and they were going to be fully vested in their retirement. But unfortunately, a family member, a close family member, a mom or a father needs them to come take care of them, not here in the U.S., but in another country.
Yeah.
And now they're uprooting themselves. They're going to leave early and they're just going to do all these things. And the question is, can that portfolio handle that? Was it built in? Are they okay? Can she make that choice?
Right. When we say portfolio, we're not trying to talk over your heads. That's just our word that we say for a collection of all of your different accounts. We say that really loosely. People do use that word. In different scenarios. We're just talking about, and that's even when I talk about estate planning, what people think, I don't have an estate. Estate is just a big word for all the stuff.
Yeah.
All the stuff you own. Your car, your motorcycles, or your boats, or your house, or whatever. An estate just means it's a collection of all of your stuff. Portfolio is just a collection of all those different accounts that you have. Some that may have $1,000, some that may have hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever. That's what we're talking about. We get those organized for you. And I was saying that to a friend. I said, it's like when somebody sits down at the conference table, I feel like they're a puzzle.
Yep.
And they've got all the puzzle pieces, and it's like, I try to just, be patient as they pull them all out, and I'm like a Tetris. Let me get this organized for you, and let me put some hole. I love my hole puncher.
Yep.
I love the binders, and I'm like, so we can just put this all together, and so it's all in one place, and then bring this every time you come back, so we can do the review of everything and make sure nothing's changed, everything's still on target. If you've got extra money that came in, or you have an extra, like something. Life happened. I had somebody was like, hey, we had to buy a new car. His blew up, basically. Well, good. You knew exactly where to go.
Right.
You knew exactly what to do. And so let's review it again now that's already happened and the money's been shifted around. And then everybody leaves with a big and a bag of popcorn.
Yes, always a bag of popcorn. The best in Broken Arrow.
Best on BA.
That's right.
Best, you say best popcorn on Main Street.
That's right.
Because you're off of Main Street.
Yeah, well, and I think it goes back to The piece I lost. Yeah, well, talking about being able to stick to the plan and diversify. Yeah, and it was great that they knew to come and have that conversation with you when a change occurred, and they knew exactly who to come to so that they could get things readjusted to how it needs to be to fit into that whole plan.
Right. And another opportunity at the conference table was, hey, it's our birthdays. And I love when people come in or around their birthdays. One, to give them a little something, something. But two, are you on Medicare? Do you have Medicare Disadvantage? I mean, Medicare Advantage. Or would you like to look at another plan, because there are those supplemental plans, and the only time you can make a change is in Oklahoma the United States around your birthday. I found out yesterday in Oklahoma, you have I think 30 days before, and then he said 60 days from the date of your birthday to make a change if you want. So it's like, hey, let's put it in the system, the software, and see if it comes up. And if you can save a couple $100, and that's what happened yesterday, I said, hey, this is the education. This is what it is. Plan G is Plan G is Plan G. The chassis is all the same. Every year you really should be shopping for it. So that's where I say, hey, come in, stop in, talk to somebody on the team and see if we can run numbers and save you a little bit of money. So that's what it's all about, is just having that team that you can come into and know that at any time one or both of us or three of us can work on something together. I do encourage people to please make an appointment, because we do get really busy, and it's tormenting to me can you just hang on a second? I need to go give them a hug or say hi real quick, or touch base. I'd rather have them set an appointment so we have that dedicated time.
Yeah. So if you're listening, definitely come visit, get some, take it with you, schedule the appointment in person. That's fine too, right?
You get Girl Scout cookies if you do that.
Awesome. Everybody loves those here. So if you're listening and you are still working and you think you might be retiring soon, or maybe you don't want to retire soon, but you want to make sure that you have that availability if life happens. Maybe you are aware that your aging parents might need your assistance, or that might be a conversation to have. You should definitely reach out and give us a call.
Well, I tell them, just come on in, bring everything that you possibly could have questions on.
Bring everything but the kitchen sink.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, anything that's financial, whether it's bank statements, tax returns, just the whole gamut, any statements, bring them in. Property taxes, we talk many times about that, where there's some opportunities here in Oklahoma for savings, or at least locking it in. So bring everything.
Right. And then what we do is just say, hey, why'd you call? Why'd you stop in? Were you at a workshop, or did you hear us on the radio? Somebody referred you. Where are we starting at? What's keeping you up at night? What do you have questions about? And that's usually when that quietly they whip a list out. And I'm encouraging listeners, if right now something pops up and you're like, gosh, I wish I could call them right now or text that question, write that down or put a memo on your phone and start building that, because that's where we start. Then I go all the way back and we start with, do you have medical directives, durable power of attorney, and estate planning? Because that's the foundation. If you have it, let's review it. If you don't, then let's talk about it. Then let's talk about where do you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? What does retirement look like for you? And, some of you listeners, I'm so proud of you guys. You are younger. We've had quite a few of you that have come in and said, here's my 401k at work. Can you just tell me what this means? And I show them what that looks like and the ticker symbols or whatever. Just educate. I show them how to use their phone to do some homework. And it's just those simple questions. And I'm so proud. There's so many of them that are doing very, very well, and they don't have somebody that's taught them.
Yeah, well, and it always goes back to, we say it over and over again, that there is no dumb question.
Nope.
If you don't understand something or you don't know what it means, you should reach out and ask. And if we don't explain it to you in a way that you understand the first time, give us that blank deer in headlights look, or ask again, because we'll try to explain it differently, and we'll take the time to get it in terms, whether that's through examples or stories that's easy to understand, so that you walk away knowing what you're choosing, what you're wanting, and having that empowerment.
Yep. And so if you're working at Aon right now and you are working and I'm in your ear, hey, I'm proud of you. I'm super proud of you guys. And you just need to make an appointment, come in and let's talk. I would love to talk to you about where you are and where you want to be, and maybe make some of those tweaks, talk to you about your HSAs, making sure you're max funding it if you can, if you're in that higher deductible healthcare plan, or Walmart warehouse. We've got a lot of people from there, and Whirlpool. It seems like a lot of our listeners are working on, here on a Saturday, and they're listening. And so I'm telling you to either call or put the phone number, text yourself this phone number, and give us a shout during the week when you're not working.
Yes.
Set an appointment. Let's see. I want to meet you, and I want you to come in and talk to us and see how we can navigate with you through these financial waters. Okay. Mm-hmm. That I actually totally understand her fear. They have spent their lifetime building their savings, and they should be cautious. But here's what I tell people: don't hire someone because they're super persuasive. I hear that so often. I just know it wasn't right, but they were so persuasive. You need to hire someone because they're transparent, that and ladies, you know what I'm talking about, that intuition that you have, that you're being heard, that somebody understands what you're saying. Ask the person, how often can we meet? Ask if they're a fiduciary. Most importantly, ask if they explain things in plain English. And then you should never, ever leave a meeting more confused than when you walked in. That's so important to me. I can see it in their eyes, and I'm like, I lost you. So let's back up, because I'm talking all this because I've been in this for many, many decades. And I will stop when I can see and feel it. And the husband will say, oh no, I understand it. And I go, I know, but hang on just a second. I need to get it more and relate to her more. She needs to understand this. And I wish, truthfully, people would talk to me that way when I'm talking about my car engine or any of that, because that's not my bus seat. I don't understand really anything as well as I understand this position I'm in right now. Wouldn't you agree?
100%. And I think it's one of those, you understand when you're out there searching for someone that you are no longer the expert, and that's why you're seeking someone out. And so to me, it goes back to almost shopping or dating, right? So when you go shopping, you look around and you compare things. To me, that's the same thing. And I apply that like with an ankle surgery or different things. I went and quote unquote interviewed the doctors. It wasn't really interviews. I didn't ask them a ton of questions about things, but if I had a question, I asked, and one of them was a definite no. You just know when you're sitting there that for whatever reason, it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel right. The other one, I left and I was happy. I felt at peace. I felt comfortable. I felt like if I had a question, I could actually call back right now and say, hey, I just thought of this, and someone would answer. Not he would answer, but someone would answer and they'd get back to me. I felt heard and cared for. And I think that's one of the things that any professional that you're going to, whether that's car, financially, any of those, you should feel comfortable. You should be able to feel like you could call them up and ask them any question that you want and feel that it's not going to be a bother and inconvenience. How many times have you been places where somebody seemed inconvenienced to actually help you?
And we're the client. Mm-hmm. We're the customer. That's what, and that's where I'm not for everybody. We aren't for everybody, huh, Rachelle?
That is 100%
If you want
right.
to come in and you're asking for all this, and we're pouring our time and energy into you, and it's completely complimentary, there is no cost to it, and you're not going to do anything about it, and you don't really want to, I'm going to tell you, you probably need to just, look somewhere else, because we are very proactive. There's only so much time in a day. And those, just recently, there's 2 of those that I've had to say, I don't think this is the right timing. I get that you want to, and I've been there. I went and joined Weight Watchers in my lifetime, and I'm not doing what I need to do. And I'm like, this is just a waste of everybody's time until my head's in the game, until I'm really going to commit to it. But also, there's been times I've had to go, and that's where I encourage people, come in, even if you don't think it's the right time, at least you'll have this foundation and base to come back later. You'll know where to come if, in fact, you need it. And you will. At some point, life happens, or, things change, and you know that there's an educational outlet here for you and a support team.
Yeah, well, they get the education, and they understand when they're ready on their terms, that they're ready to make a move. They're ready to start making changes. But change is hard, so it can be a process for some people. But you don't know anything unless you get started or you have those questions. So.
Yeah, and I have people that, one that she hadn't opened her husband's mail for 3, I think almost 4 years, and came in just to say that and to say, I'm scared. And I'm like, I hear you. I'm with you. I understand. Bring it in. And she scheduled another appointment, and then she canceled it. I thank people. Thank you for canceling in advance. Yep. And then she made another one when she was more ready, and she came in and she said, okay, thanks for your patience in walking through this. It's not easy. And it's like, I completely understand. I am not offended by any question or any emotional position you are. But if you keep coming and you're not doing, you're not taking those steps forward, let's not play the game just because there's not enough time in the day. There are people that are ready to make the move, and I'm having to put them out a couple of weeks because we're booked.
Yeah. Well, and I would encourage this individual, if this is who we were talking to, that just the same as we do the men, is that it should be a joint plan, a joint conversation a joint implementation. So I would encourage not only for her to get educated, to reach out and start the process, but also to make sure that he realizes that he needs to come along for the journey and at least be a part of the conversations and hear what's going on, because it's not going to be just her retirement. It's going to be their retirement.
Right.
So, it's still one of those I would encourage the same like I do with the men is, well, I would love to meet your wife. She really needs to come in and have conversations with me because we want to develop the relationship. I want to be that person when something happens that you're coming in and you're already in an emotional state, that we're a safe place to have that conversation.
Man, I'm going to go one step further, because I had people that yesterday were saying, can we bring our adult kids in here because they're part of this whole succession plan? I'm like, absolutely, especially if they're visiting. Yeah, if they're visiting for the holidays and it's summer and the kids and grandkids are there, schedule a time. Come down, grab some lunch downtown, or go by, take the grandkids to the candy store and pick me up some dark chocolate with sea salt on it. And then come and talk. There's no transaction. There's nothing that has to happen other than putting a face and a name and saying, and this is who, or this is where, we're getting our assistance from. And these are the people that are working with us. This is our financial team. That's a huge compliment when somebody comes in and introduces us, and I'm like, here we are, and this is who we are and what each position does. So if you want to make an appointment, you're going to talk to Amy or Charlotte. If you want to talk about your deed being recorded, you're going to want to talk to Nathan. Right. And just kind of the name and face together, so that, like you said, there's that foundation. And so yes, talking about that woman, I understand her being scared. It gets scary, but we're telling you right now, if you're under our voice, you've got this opportunity. Give us a call. Set the appointment. Come in and see us. Well, I tell people all the time, your investment return is only half that equation. The other half is how you take that money out. I've seen two families with exactly the same amount saved. One runs out of money and the other is able to leave a nice inheritance. The difference wasn't how much they earned and how much they saved. It was having that withdrawal strategy in place. And that's what that retirement income planning is all about. And that's why we work so well together in a strategic partnership, because of the taxation.
Yeah, it's huge on the taxation side. When we're talking about different strategies, a lot of times people want to do one bucket at a time, right? They talk about draining one versus the other. And it's not about the amount of money you have saved, but it's about the income that you actually take home. So when you're looking at that, you have to make sure that you're accounting for the fact that, 25 to 30% of whatever your income is could be going to taxes. Now, we work hard to try to mitigate that through strategies and just being smart about whether it's RMD strategies or different other types of strategies to lower down that taxable income amount. But if you're doing it all yourself, you're just going to start taking and create big issues long term.
Right. And usually it's exactly like that. I feel like they're trying to figure out which jug of milk to drink first. Yes. And they're like, I'm going to use this one up here because it's the smallest. And I'm like, there's not, no, because a lot of times, I don't know about you, I see where they want to go that non-qualified money and drain that first. And that really is your honey pot is what I look at it. And I'm like, no, let's get that in something that's tax deferred. Right. So we can get this thing working better for you. And then let's look at those never before tax dollars, and let's start looking, and working with a CPA and a tax strategist to get this moving. That's how you make it last longer and most efficiently.
I think the other big issue that people don't always account for is inflation. Yep. When you're looking at 3 to 4% inflation, that can add up really fast.
Right. I think those first 5 years are the danger zone, because retirees often draw down their assets too quickly. Their overspending early will leave less money to grow, making it harder for savings to last through the longer the retirement. And that's why I say, let's really protect that purchasing power. They underestimate how fast, like you just said, costs rise. Mm-hmm. And then there's ebbs and flows. So put a pin in it. That sounds like a great idea to do that remodel or room addition or whatever you're thinking about doing. Timing is everything. Let's put a pin in it. Let's know we're going to come back to it. And then let's continue to plan and prepare for surprise expenses or irregular things happening in your budget. So yeah, I tell people that first year, once they retire, we're going to see a lot of each other. But that first 5 years, yes, we've got to stay really close. And you need to be in here, if not a couple times a year, once a quarter. I don't mind it at all, just to help navigate the new territory.
Correct. Well, and I think another area where I like when you talk about, for people who want to do it themselves, is not understanding like sequence of returns.
Yep. What got them to retirement does not get them through retirement, because I was just sharing this and then talked to a family member about it yesterday. We had somebody, it took them 22 minutes because of health reasons to get in and sit down at the conference room table. And in that 22 minutes, he had lost $14,000. He's in his 80s. And he's taking money out that day from his paycheck. So
double
now
whammy.
he just created a $19,000 off his purchasing power. Only wanted 5, but because the market went down that day, it was 19. Now he needs to recover all that. And how long does it take? And that's what people, they just are not, the DIYers don't understand it. That's what I'm like, go get a new hobby.
Not in retirement, because
Right.
it's different. It's just a whole different type of ball game. And, you know, accumulation is great because you have such a long time to get back to that same position that you were talking about. But when you're in retirement, you know, your window is just a little bit shorter.
Yeah. So if that's you, if you want somebody to put another set of eyes on what you're doing and give you some insight and run some reports, we've got fantastic software at no cost. We will do that for you. We will load you up with the education so you can make those educated decisions. If we can help you, great. We've got opportunities for proprietary products that people can't find anywhere else. We also have a team here that can look at the whole big picture. So give us a call today. Get that appointment on the books because, as Rachelle says, if it's not on the calendar, it's not going to happen. I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to even thank more the people that give us a call and come by. We are doing this for you. If there's ever anything you want us to cover, please let us know. We are more than happy to talk and share. The things that matter to you most is what we want to address.
Yes, 100%. We love to see your face. I would love to get the opportunity to shake a hand and share some popcorn. So come and see us here in Broken Arrow.
Until next time, take care.